Well, welcome to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. As we come to the end of the year, your major networks will have this, 1 minute memorial for the people who have passed away in 2023. And you know that everyone we know and care about will be omitted because it'll only be the big names like Jim Brown and Raquel Welch and people like that that will be remembered. But I've always made it a point to keep people who have left us in our memories. So, like I said, 2023 was a real bad year for losing people, and I also have to go be referenced because there were so many. And unfortunately, there was a lot. Starting off with Joe Turkel at age 84. Joe, of course, was mostly known for being the bartender in The Shining, but he was also in a ton of other stuff. A great character actor, really great character actor. Another counterculture icon, Ralph Sonny Barger, president of the Hells Angels for a lot of years. This was a really sad one too. Ray Liotta, right after he did Cocaine Bear at age 67, passed away from a heart attack. David Warner, great British actor, was in a ton of stuff, including Peckinpah's, Cross of Iron, I'm sorry. Tony Dow from TV's Leave It to Beaver, the older brother. Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek, that's what it should be most remembered for, but also did a couple of black exploitation films, including, I believe, Truck Turner. Henry Silva, another great character actor, made it to the age of 95. Henry was a Puerto Rican actor who played Indians, Mexicans, Italians, all kinds of other ethnic things. One of his greatest roles was the hitman in Sharky's Machine. Boston Stoker, another really nice guy from Assault on Precinct 13, Horror High, and others. One of the more fan-friendly guys who would just sit down and have a conversation with you at conventions. Sweetheart of a guy. Kit Natividad from Russ Meyer films and a lot of other films. Real sweetheart, really crazy, really out there, but, great person. Kay Parker, adult film star, age 73 rather. Kate was very nice to me when she appeared at Cinema Wasteland, right before I was going to have my colon removal surgery, and said some Reiki healing for me. It's a shame. Kate was a nice lady. Andrew Prine from Star Trek and a ton of B movies, including Grizzly and things like that. Great character actor. Worked with John Wayne, a lot of westerns, a lot of other things. Nick Millard, aka Nick Phillips, an old friend of mine who I did audio commentary on his Criminally Insane and Satan's Black Wedding DVD, along with a host of his other TNA things. Unfortunately, William and Walter Olson, founders of Code Red and Scorpion Releasing, respectively, found out a whole bunch of films that some people needed to see, a few films we didn't need to see, but at the end, Bill gave the fans what they wanted, the Blu-ray of The Farmer. Albert Pun, 69, he did a bunch of stuff for, I believe, Empire, and things like that. Some great stuff. Irene Carrera, who appeared in Flashdance. Max Julian, age 88, he was in The Savage Seven, Cleopatra Jones, and others. Stuart Margolin, 82, who was a regular on the Rockford Files and actually was Sid Haig's roommate when they were both up and coming. Craig Ledbetter, the original creator of European Trash Cinema magazine. Nick Tallow, Pittsburgh native, who was in Dawn of the Dead, an all-around great guy who will be greatly missed. And sadly, that's not the end of it. I got him on here. Jim Brown, who was a player on the Cleveland Browns, who quit his football career to start acting, and his first film was Rio Conchos, and he became one of the great blaxploitation stars. Superstar Billy Graham, one of the first flamboyant bad guy champions in the WWF, one of the few people who actually beat Bruno Sammartino but had his feet on the ropes, was the predecessor basically that Hulk Hogan based his character on and a lot of other people based their characters on. Marlene Clark, who co-starred with Jim Brown in Slaughter, and also was in a couple other exploitation films, including Night of the Cobra Woman. The Iron Sheik, former Olympian who started wrestling late in life, and a lot of crazy stories about Sheiky, including my own. And all I can say, it was an honor to sit down and smoke a bone with you. Barry Newman from TV Petrocelli, and also one of the greatest car chase films ever made, Vanishing Point. Robert Butch Miller, one half of the Bushwhackers, aka the Sheepherders. Little tragedy here, came over to reunite with his partner Butch, left his medication home, and unfortunately passed away. Lisa Loring, Wednesday, from the Addams Family, another shocker at only 64. Jerry Springer from the Jerry Springer Show in the film Ringmaster. Michael Lerner, another character actor from Barton Fink, Maniac Cop 2, No Escape, another great character actor. Tina Turner, 81, one of the greatest R&B singers of all times, and the star of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Of course, Raquel Welch, how could we forget Raquel Welch, 82 years old, from 1 Million Years BC to 100 Rifles to a ton of stuff. All these action films in the 70s, and she was basically the essential 70s sex symbol. Robbie Robertson, original member of the band and also star of the film Carney. Linda Hayes, who played hard-boiled blondes in Rolling Thunder, Human Experiments, and other films. Sharon Farrell from It's Alive, Night of the Comet, and Lone Wolf McQuade. William Friedrich, if he had only made The Exorcist, he would have, would have been a whole thing, but he did a whole bunch of other stuff, including The French Connection, To Live and Die in L.A., Sorcerer, and the very controversial Cruising. Sean Costello, former loop performer and director of two of the most notorious roughies, if you want to call them that, of all times, Water Power and Forced Entry. Frederick Forrest, 86, who started in the Andy Milligan films, found fame in other films, was also in The Don is Dead and Missouri Breaks and other films. Terry Funk, one of the true living legends of wrestling. Terry Funk held the NWA World title, the ECW World title, tons of regional titles, was in movies like Roadhouse, Paradise Alley, had 2 TV shows, Wild Side and Tequila and Bonet. Honestly, worked up until the point where he couldn't work anymore. Was doing crazy shit in his late 50s and early 60s that other guys his age wouldn't even attempt, and was completely over with the fans. A hell of a guy and a living legend. Unfortunately, at 74, he had dementia and we lost him. Wyndham Rotundo, this one was very rough. Bray Wyatt is his ring name. He was part of the Mulligan Wyndham family, the grandson of Blackjack Mulligan. Barry Windham was his uncle. Mike Rotundo was his father. He had heart problems. Unfortunately, he passed away at age, how old? He wasn't that old. 36. He was only 36. Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman. Very funny guy. We all know about that. Treat Williams, another great character actor, and tragically in a motorcycle accident. Robert Blake, 89, last of the original, not the original, but of that Little Rascals crew toward the end. From Beretta, Electra Guide in Blue, and some really weird court appearances, including the death of his ex-wife. Tom Sizemore, 61, had a promising career that got derailed by drugs and alcohol, but he was in Saving Private Ryan, Heat, and a ton of other movies. Richard Belzer, 78, from the longest running show on TV, I believe, Law and Order, plus The Groove Tube and other films. I remember him as a stand-up comedian when he first started out. Julian Sands, who basically died on a hiking expedition somewhere up in California, another tragedy. Jay Briscoe, this was really tragic, part of the Briscoe brothers tag team. They had just been signed by AEW when a drunken driver hit his car with his wife and children in it, and Jay was killed instantly. Oh, God. Adnan El-Qusay, a.k.a. Billy White Wolf. He was actually a childhood friend of Saddam Hussein and had to leave the country because Saddam was going to kill him. Wound up over here, became Chief Jay Strongbow's buddy, wrestled as an Indian, and then came back as Adnan El-Qusay, an evil sheik that had Patera and Blackwell in his stable. Came to the WWE and managed Turncoat Sergeant Slaughter in a very controversial match that was originally supposed to be held outdoors and had to be moved indoors due to security concerns. Oh, God. David McCallum, 90, from The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Great Escape, and other films. Oh, God. Jeff Burr. This one really hit me hard because I met Jeff at a convention. He was really a sweetheart of a guy and a nice guy, 60 years old. Herschel Savage, adult film performer in the 70s, from the Golden Age. And last but not least, my dear, dear friend Gary Kent, who the next issue of Grindhouse Resurrection will be a tribute to him. And unfortunately, to wrap it up, 80s adult film star Karen Summers passed away before this broadcast. So, you know, it just takes a little bit out of me every time I do this because I realize I'll never see a lot of these people in the flesh again. And some were friends, others were acquaintances. But to me, it's important to keep their memories alive because these people were such a part of our childhood and growing up in formative years. And they became almost family to us. And it's just sad to say goodbye. And it always hurts to say goodbye. So on that note, let me end this. Stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you on the flip side.